What's crack, guys? Welcome back to another video where we're talking about getting the balance between GYM and GAA. Make sure you watch all the other videos first before you get onto this one, or after you finish off with this one, to get a full understanding of this conversation we're having. In this video, I am going to be talking about the specific movements that will help you with football, and what movements you should incorporate into your training program to get the most out of your time in the gym and helping the gym transfer over to improve performance on the football pitch. So first of all, I want to direct you onto our Facebook page. So go to facebook.com and go to GYM and GAA. It's a private group. Get onto the private group because on there you will find all of the programs that I'm going to be talking about here. And then once you have the programs, I want you to work these movements in to where you see corrective. So if you see corrective 1, stick one of these movements in there. If you see corrective 2, do the same thing. Or you can work in an extra day or do days after your program, or do them during the warm-up. So for football and for that sport, and I can actually give a bit more advice on this because I play football, I don't play hurling, but for football there's a couple of things we want to do that you wouldn't see the regular gym goer do. First one is we want to work on power development. So when we're talking about power development, we're talking about kind of glute strength and strength around our hips so that we can run faster, jump higher. Power development will come with the contrast program. So when we're getting into our championship season, those couple of weeks in around those big games, we want to be focused on that power development. We're talking about movements like a dumbbell snatch and a high hang, high pull. We're talking about jumping. We're talking about bounding. We're talking about some single leg explosive power as well. So power-based stuff, Olympic style movements is really important for performance on the GAA pitch. Another pattern we want to introduce to transfer what we do in the gym over onto the pitch is a hip thrust pattern. If you think about the patterns we've discussed in the previous video, we have a squat pattern which is up and down, we have a hip hinge pattern which is like a I don't know how to do that with my hand, but like a hip hinge like this, and we have a lunge pattern which is a very applicable to obviously in the pitch because we're running all the time, we're never really standing on both legs too often. So when we do a hip hinge pattern, rather than an up and down pattern like a squat, a hip hinge pattern is kind of like a push movement this way. So it's kind of like back and forth, back and forth. I'll insert another video here of hip thrusts. But ultimately what that does for us is it helps us build our glute strength, and it is in the pattern of a sprint. So when you're sprinting, you're not going up and down, you're going this way. So that will really help us with, again, transferring over muscle mass and muscle gains on our glutes into improved performance by helping us be a little bit more explosive and being a little bit quicker. So with the hip thrusts, you can apply that to your program, and that can add to building muscle in around the glutes, hamstrings, lower back. And when we get towards championship time, you can even use a hip thrust as more of a power movement where you're doing it with a little bit less weight and you're just moving a little bit quicker. Next thing we're going to talk about is actually moving side to side. Okay, football is not really a sport of up and down, and I learned that it took me a while to learn it, but when you play rugby, it's up and down. You do not run sideways in rugby. But in GAA, if all you do is run up and down, you're going to run into traffic and you're in trouble. So football is a lot of left and right changing direction. So we got to strengthen up the muscles that help us do that. So glute med or mini band work is really, really important for football. There's a couple of movements you can do. Things like crab walks, monster walks. You go backwards and forwards. You can do upright walks. You can do bodyweight squats where you push the bands out to the side. All those movements will help strengthen your glute med. If you don't have mini bands, you can do clams, you can do abductions, both lying on the floor. Again, we're looking to focus on the muscle on the outside of our hip and really get the most out of that. I'll put together a separate video just with that mini band work and that glute med work as well, if you're interested. So if you're interested in seeing that video, make sure you leave a comment in the comment section below, and I'll get to it if we get enough people interested. Next thing we want to focus on is shoulder rehab. We see a load of shoulder injuries with football and hurling, and that's because people are trying to tackle and they're trying to do this and they're trying to grab, or someone's running by them and again they're trying to like clothesline them, and the shoulder is put in a very vulnerable position, and as a result we can have some rotator cuff issues. You know, usually it's a minor strain on the shoulder, and if it is a minor strain in the shoulder, particularly if you're playing hurling, it can really affect your swing. So you want to be doing some shoulder kind of prehab work year round to make sure that those rotator cuffs are really strong, particularly in around championship time, because again, you know, the last thing you want is a sore shoulder to keep you out of an important championship match. We want to focus on external rotation, which is out here like this, and internal rotation, which is here like this. If you want me to put together another video of those exercises, just let me know. I can throw that together nice and quick. The next thing we can work on inside the gym is balance. Now you can do this very simply with a single leg stand. You just stand on one leg. You can close your eyes, it makes it harder, or you can look left and right, it makes it harder again. Put in a slight bend in the knee. If you want to progress that on further using an unstable surface like a Bosu ball or just some kind of a cushion, and again you want to challenge yourself there. So that might be like 30 seconds to a minute, challenging yourself on that balance work, but ultimately that will really help you down the line when you're going for a score. Someone's knocking you off balance. Can you maintain that center of gravity? Can you execute your skill under that kind of pressure? With regards to football, we want to have some external rotation at the hip, and this is kind of I don't know if too many people do this one, but you don't really typically see this kind of stuff in club level, but you want to focus on, again, external rotation to the hip. If you look at Colm Cooper or James O'Donoghue, just two guys who come to mind, they have a lot of external rotation at their hips. So when they're kicking the ball, their foot, they can rotate their foot way out to the side in order to make contact with the inside of the boot. And it's, again, it is that external rotation at the hip that allows them to do that. So you can do things like a piriformis stretch. It's a really good one. So if you Google piriformis stretch, you'll see some stretching to do that will give you some external rotation at the hip. The last thing we can introduce to really benefit us with football is hand-eye coordination and foot-eye coordination. So you can do a couple of hand-eye coordination drills with tennis balls, where you bounce the tennis balls up and down. You can throw them off the wall, throw them a catch, or you can do your balance work with a football. So standing on one leg, kicking off a wall, catching again, and trying to hold your balance during that. What you'll find is when you go to kick the ball, you're already slightly off balance, so it doesn't automatically become a motor pattern that you're wholly familiar with, because you're, again, a little bit off center, and now you've got to still make the same contact with the ball to execute the skill, whereas you're used to kind of being fairly planted when you're doing that. So that really works on the the eye-foot coordination. You can also do kick and drill. I like to do kick and drill with a tennis ball. So tennis ball is obviously a lot smaller and it's a lot harder to kick it more accurately, so you really have to focus on that tennis ball when you're kicking it. Again, it could be just against the wall that's maybe 20 feet in front of you or 15 feet in front of you. You kick the tennis ball off the wall and you're trying to obviously hit it in a straight line, and that really will get you to focus in on that tennis ball and focus on making your good contact there. That's it for this video. I hope it made sense. I know some of those movements, you mightn't understand some of them when I'm talking through them. So if you're in that case, maybe people get them right, but if you're in that case, again, just let me know in the comment section below. I can make separate videos for all those things, the hand-eye coordination, foot-eye coordination, balance work, all that kind of stuff. So if you want to see those, just let me know in the comment section below. I want to thank you for watching this video. Do make sure you let the boys in the team know about this video series, and go watch all the other videos to bring yourself up to speed. Thanks for watching the video. I'll see you in the next one. Slán.